Hello, 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 and welcome to Lunchtime with Dr. Nadine and our very special guest today, Julissa Benn Espinosa. So, as you're coming in, just let us know in the chat, where are you joining us from today? Where are you having lunch with us from today? We would love to know. I'm sure Julissa would love to know who's in the room with us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, so I'm going to just give a brief intro of Julissa. Then she
Mhm.
will tell you a lot more about herself, and we will get into her story, her message, her power. So, Julissa is the creator of Unlimited Inner Peace Blueprint. She helps professional Christian women, yes, professional Christian women between the ages of 30 to 50 who have experienced situations that cost them their peace. And so many of us are about our peace and wanting our peace and keeping our peace. And so she's helping these women, especially when these situations brought them shame and pain and rejection, to use proven and technical strategies and so on to allow them to regain their peace. And so, Julissa, we're so excited to have you with us today. Just tell our audience a little more about your background.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Nadine, for allowing me this space in your platform. Again, my name is Julissa Benn Espinosa. I am originally from Panama. I'm from a family of 6 siblings, mom and dad. Um, I speak Spanish, which is my first language. That's where the accent comes from. My background is in finance, and I have been in that field for over 25 years. Um, but I also, always try to stay busy at church, helping people, serving. Um, that's who I am.
Awesome. So we're happy to have you here. You're from Panama originally, but you now reside in Texas.
Yes, yes, in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Yes,
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That's a nice, quaint city. I love it.
it's lovely.
Awesome. So, Julissa, we're so excited that you are here. Now, we just got a little bit about your background. So I
Mhm.
would love you to just tell our audience, okay? I worked with you in the speaker mentorship program, but what actually brought you into my world? How did that even happen? So talk to us about that journey.
Yes. So I actually had met you quite a few years ago when you came to my church for a prayer breakfast. It was a weekend, a women's weekend. Of course, there were so many people there. You don't remember me, right? Uh, but then last year, a friend of mine, around Mother's Day, a friend of mine, well, I was invited to speak during the Mother's Day program. And when that ended, a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, came to me and she said, Julissa, you need to speak with Dr. Nadine. And I was like, okay. She was like, you need to speak with her because what I saw you did in there a few minutes ago, you have a voice and you have a message to share. That passed. Then in October last year, um, we met at the women's retreat in Houston,
Right.
and I was appointed to be an interpreter. And that Sunday, I was up there on the platform, and it was your turn to come up to speak. And you whispered something in my ear. You said, you have breakfast? I need more energy than that. And we had not even really been officially introduced, right? So that was our first exchange there. And I believe the Holy Spirit was working during that time. After you spoke, my very good friend Raquel came to me and she said, "You need to talk to my mentor, Dr. Nadine." And I said, "Okay, introduce me to your mentor." Because she said to me, "You have a message to share with the world, and I want you to talk to her." So we went outside, she introduced us, and we spoke. And that's how it all started.
Yes, yes, I remember that so clearly. And yeah, because I didn't want to just say I need the energy. I need to know if you ate in the morning. I was like, if you ate, that means there's more inside of there. Let's do, and you did such an amazing job.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
Yes.
I felt like I had fire on under my feet, and you kept up with every all of the
Yes.
ups
Yes.
and the downs and the excitement. You did such an amazing job.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I believe the Holy Spirit was indeed working uh, through both of us during that
Mhm.
day.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and so now we got that introduction. I believe we had a discovery call afterwards,
We
and you
did.
came into the speaker mentorship program. So
Yes.
talk to us, and we have Diane here. I remember Diane. So that means if I remember Diane, it would be that same time I met you in Austin as well when I spoke.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
remember
It was
Diane so
actually
clearly.
Diane. It was actually Diane, the first one that told me that I needed to speak to you.
So she's saying hi to both of us. Lovely to have you here, Diane. Yeah, so Julissa, so now we had that conversation, that discovery call,
Yes.
and it was clear that you had a message and that
Yes.
we needed to help you build that message and just develop your speaking assets and everything that you need. So you came into the program. What were
Mhm.
you expecting? And then talk to us even so about what was that journey was like, or we could get to it later.
Well, to be honest with you, when we had that discovery call, we had that conversation. I kind of broke down a little bit,
Mhm.
speaking about my journey and my experience. I wasn't really sure what was my message at that time.
Right.
Okay. Um, and I was so overwhelmed,
Mhm.
right? Um, and to be honest, again, I went into the program because I felt that the Lord was actually calling me.
Mhm.
He had been calling me for a while, but I was just, kind of ignoring the call
Yeah.
because I wasn't comfortable, right? And I didn't know what I wanted to speak about. I mean, certain topics I had in my mind,
Mhm.
right? But not specifically what I really wanted to speak about or
Mhm.
what the Lord wanted me to share with the world.
Mhm.
Okay? So I came into the program not really knowing what I had gotten myself into, what I was gonna get from there. So, and that was wow, what an experience! What an experience!
Yeah, and I'm happy you actually mentioned that because a lot of times when women feel called, they think that they already have to know the message. In your situation and the situation of so many other ladies, even in your cohort, is answering that call without knowing what it is I'm supposed to speak about. And so
Yes.
you came in, you were sure, okay, I have that call, I feel it. I don't know what the message is, okay?
Hmm.
And I'm
Hmm.
like, it's okay, you don't need to know. We'll figure it out when you get in the program.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
you started the program, and as we went through the process, your message emerged.
Hmm.
So talk to us. What was the journey like for you in the speaker program?
Well, at the beginning, I felt a little lost
Hmm.
because, like I said, I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into, right? But with your direction and you pushing us, push to think, to really meditate, and to really look inside of us, right? And connect with ourselves in
Hmm.
order to understand what is it that is inside of you that the Lord is telling you through His Holy Spirit that you need to share with the world, right? So I want to say maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks, I felt a little like, okay, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know where I'm at, right? But then I got it. Then I got it with your help and the help with the other ladies that were in the program. I was able to understand what that message was. And the interesting thing is that That message I discovered during that session, but that is something that has always been there. Always been there. It's something that I have always pursued all my life. And
Mhm,
that is experiencing inner peace in the
mhm,
midst of any situation that
mhm.
life brings to you.
Right. And so what was it like for you the moment when it hit? This is what I need to be speaking about. What was that moment like for you?
I was like, wow. I mean, it's always been there.
Mhm,
So why didn't I know this?
mhm,
But so that light just came on,
mhm,
right? And it's like, okay, yeah, this is what it is. Because through every situation that you have experienced, this is me talking to myself, right? Through every situation that you have experienced, this is something that you have been pursuing.
mhm,
This
mhm,
is something that you have been wanting to do. You
mhm,
know, I've
mhm,
always seen myself as a peacemaker,
mhm,
always trying to bring reconciliation and unity in between parties, right?
mhm,
But beside that, I've always been someone to pursue that inner calm, that inner tranquility, that inner
mhm,
peace. Because if you don't have that,
mhm,
there is you can go through the motions of life, right, and get things done, but inside there
mhm.
is conflict. There is turmoil inside of you.
Yes.
So that is something that I have always pursued.
Mhm.
Inner peace.
Yeah, inner peace is like big because the thing is, there are a lot of people. I remember writing a thought on Facebook a few years ago, I believe it was, that sometimes people are at war within themselves, and
Yes.
there's nothing that you can do to help anybody who's at war inside, who's at war
Absolutely.
within themselves. Because no matter how much peace you bring on the outside, when the
Mhm.
war is inside, you're in trouble. And
Exactly.
I love your message of inner peace. So, what led you to that message? We can talk about that backstory because, okay, we did the
Yes.
work, we uncovered, hey, this is something that you've been pursuing your entire life. You didn't
Mhm.
even realize there was a message there. And
Yes.
there are so
Mhm.
many people who are on that journey to seek what you have been pursuing your entire life. You could share,
Yes.
if you can, maybe some of the tumultuous moments in your life where you were actually demonstrating that
Mhm.
ability to seek peace and to experience it even in the midst of your storms.
Yes. So let me share with you a couple of experiences that I went through. Right. A few years back, I was at work
Mhm,
doing my thing, tending to customers and doing everything that I needed to do during the day. It was a beautiful day, and the phone rang, and I picked up the phone and I answered normal, hello, good afternoon, and on the other end of the line there was my brother
mm,
speaking so fast I could barely understand what he was actually saying. But I did hear when he said the house is being raided.
mhm,
I could not think straight. There were so many things going through my mind. I rushed over to my aunt that worked at the same place, and I told her what my brother had said, and we both rushed out of there without even telling my boss. So
mhm,
you can think and imagine
mhm,
the turmoil inside
mhm,
of me
mhm,
and how to deal with this situation, the shame and
mhm,
the embarrassment,
mhm.
because of course people now are going to be talking, even
Right.
though they have no idea what's going on. They people always have something to say.
Mhm,
And shame and embarrassment is something that we don't really talk about, right? It's
mhm,
so difficult to deal with that, to talk about it, to express it, right? And so I went through that experience, and I sat down and understanding, this is something that happened. This is
mhm.
not a situation that defines who you are,
Right.
right? Um, so you can go through this situation and still be at peace with yourself and keep moving forward
Mhm,
while the situation resolve itself. And
mhm.
that's exactly what I did. So that's one story. Another story. that I want to share with you is when my brother was murdered,
Mm.
brutally murdered a few years ago. Being at home with my mom and hearing shots,
Mm.
hearing my brother calling and running outside and seeing my brother laying there on the
Mm.
floor. He was shot in the back. We rushed into the hospital, and 19 days later, he passed
Mm.
away.
Wow.
Just seeing my brother on that hospital bed, laying there with hooked up with, to all
Yeah.
of these machines, it was so painful just to see my brother in that condition. And when he passed away, it was like a piece of me had been cut off.
Mm.
It was so painful. But then I also experienced anger. I
Mm.
was so angry because we had no idea what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
When my brother was conscious, when that happened that day, I actually asked him, like, what happened? Do you know what happened? Do you know who did this to you? And he said, no, he
Mm.
didn't know. He had no idea what had happened. That experience was so painful, but praise God, I was able to get through that because I was able to understand my pain. I was able to sit down and be deliberate about searching and still looking to experience that peace in the midst of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that didn't happen overnight,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because
Mm-hmm.
this is inner peace is an inside job, and it's an ongoing journey. This is
Mm-hmm.
something that you have to seek after every single day.
Right.
It's not something that you get one day and then the next day you keep it. No, every day you have to pursue inner peace. And with the experience with my brother and that pain and that anger, why anger? Because I was angry at the people who did this to my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it took me 2 years to get over that anger, to
Mm-hmm.
understand that I could not continue going in that route, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could not continue harboring that anger inside of me
Mm-hmm.
because it was eating me alive,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And another experience, real quick, that I'm going to share with you is when I was going through my divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Again, pain,
Mm.
the feeling of rejection,
Mm.
the fear of being judged
Right.
by people, and all of these emotions I was going through. And it was so difficult. I was actually getting physically sick.
Wow.
Um,
Mm.
Thinking about it, I thought there was something wrong with me. But
Mm-hmm.
on reflection, I understood there was nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
Nothing was wrong with me. I My marriage failed.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a failure.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I was able to push through once I understood what I was going through, what I was feeling inside. And again, that's why peace is an inside job.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down and you have to understand what you're going through. You have to understand your emotions in order to push forward.
Wow. Wow, that's like three major experiences. I'm sure we can't even go into any of them per se. However, the theme
Yeah.
of it is the feeling of shame,
Yes.
rejection, maybe
Mm.
anger. And
Yes.
sometimes people think because you're a person who pursues peace, then maybe you're not going to be angry,
Oh,
right?
yeah. No, absolutely not.
But it,
Absolutely not. You're going to experience all of these emotions, right?
yeah,
But you have to sit down and really understand, why are you feeling this way? You
right.
know, and in order to push forward and advance.
Right. And
Mm,
that's good. So the message is very clear about being able to acknowledge what
yes,
your emotions are. Another
yes,
thing that you mentioned that I think it's really critical, maybe a little off in terms of maybe the line of where I want to go. However, I think we need to put it out is
yes,
that a lot of times we may feel as if we are what we failed at. And so
Yes.
you made that very clear. My marriage failed. I did not fail.
Yes.
Especially
Yes.
within, the Christian context. So many
Oh,
times,
yes.
so many people stay in marriages that are not working, that are highly dysfunctional and toxic because they're afraid that people are going to talk. And one thing
Exactly.
that you mentioned, I think real critical, is the fact that you were getting physically sick
I
from an
was.
emotional and psychological experience.
Yes. Yes. I was. And you know what, not Dr. Nadine, um, pursuing and experiencing inner peace is something that is not really spoken of in
Mm-hmm.
our circles, right? At
Mm-hmm.
church. And peace is one of the components of the fruit of the spirit. When
Mm-hmm.
we hear speak about joy, love,
Mm-hmm.
patience, self-control, but tell me, do you really hear many sermons or talks or dissertations or whatever you want to call them about how to experience inner peace? Not really. We don't hear that. Even though our Lord said many times, let not your heart be troubled. I leave you peace, not that like the world gives it to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. It's that peace that passeth all understanding. But do we hear that often? Not really. And there are studies made and done about a whole bunch of different topics, but about how to pursue and find inner peace, very little is.
That's why you're called to do it, because we need it, especially in this crazy world. Every day we're experiencing wars inside,
Yes,
we're experiencing wars around us, different
yes,
types. And I
yes.
think that your message of inner peace is really powerful. Just to let you know, we have Franklin, Grant, from Emma, Panama. They're joining here. Just we
You're
have
my
Sandy.
friends.
Yes, Sandy Blake joining from Toronto, Canada. I believe I met Sandy recently there. Alicia is saying pain might not be a choice. Our reaction is everything.
Absolutely,
So your
absolutely.
message of peace is needed, because I believe all of us are experiencing some form of turmoil, and
Yes,
we need to know how to be able to calm ourselves, because
yes.
otherwise we're going to get sick, because we already
Mhm.
know that the body is only getting sick when it's
Yeah.
stressed. And so your message of inner peace is so powerful. You mentioned three different incidents.
Mhm.
One, your brother, with a police, one being shot, and then your divorce. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers today could identify with one or another of these,
Mhm.
in terms of family being in trouble with the law, in terms of losing a family member unexpectedly and
Mhm.
tragically at that. In your case, I also had a similar situation. My brother was shot to death. And then you have the divorce part, which is something that so many are trying to avoid, but yet still experiencing war. I
Yeah.
remember specifically one part of your story goes into your childhood, where you did something very unusual to experience peace. I'll let you share that part.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the ice cream story.
Mhm, mhm,
Yes, so when I was small, I love ice cream. And at the time, you could go to the neighbor to buy ice cream for 15 cents for one scoop or 25 cents for two scoops, right? So anytime I felt like anxious inside, and if I had the 15 cents or the 25 cents, I would just rush back to the neighbor and I will buy me um, an ice cream cone, two scoops. And then I will go to the back of the house and I will just sit there and I will enjoy that ice cream. And then my mother will sometimes see me and she would be like, "You're eating ice cream again?" But of course, at the
mhm,
time I didn't understand why I was doing that, but that was something that I was doing to appease my inner self, right?
mhm,
Because I was feeling anxious, I
mhm,
was feeling like turmoil inside of me,
mhm,
and eating ice cream was something that helped me at the time. But you know what? We can do many things um, to to experience that calm at the moment, right? But external situations or something external that you do is only temporary.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
only temporary. I
Mm-hmm.
used to also go to the causeway when I was feeling that way and just sit there and I just watch the sea moving, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that soothing sound will help
Mm-hmm.
me put me in that mode of, calm and tranquility. But it was only temporary.
Right, right.
Only temporary. That is why, yes, it is good to do all those things that external factors that help you,
Yeah.
right? But it's important to look inside and
Mm-hmm.
understand in order to move forward and really experience that peace daily.
Right. And so that is really a good way to cap your message because, as you mentioned, we could do a lot of external things. Some people may exercise, some of us may sit and watch TV, some might eat.
Mm. Yes.
We may look for different coping mechanisms, some that are way
Mhm.
off
Mhm.
bad stuff.
Yeah,
However, it does not matter what we do to try to pacify, we would still need to do the work on the inside. Drugs will
exactly.
not do it, alcohol will not do it,
Mhm.
partying won't do it, eating won't do it, being
Mhm.
a couch potato won't do it. We still have to do the work on the inside. And that's
Exactly.
why I believe your message is very needed at a time like this. And
Yes.
so if folks are looking to reach out to you, because we all need that peace and calm that even your
Yes.
voice is giving us right now.
Yes.
But we want to be able to do the inside work because we may be experiencing some challenges. And I
Mhm.
believe all of us are at some point, and especially within the context of just everything that's happening in the world. Where can people find you?
Yes, people can find me on my site, which is
Okay.
julissabenn.com,
Okay.
or by email, julissa.benn@gmail.com.
Okay, all right. I'm going to put that here on the screen, guys. So here you have it, julissa.ben@gmail.com. You can also reach out to her on her website here. You can have all of the information right there. Julissa, it has been such an honor, having you here.
Mm.
We have folks just saying powerful, Julissa. I believe your message is clear. Bury denial, right? Peace is an inside job,
Mhm.
talking about hitting the nail on the head,
Yes,
seeking
yes,
inner peace every day. Love this, right? And so the message is clear, Julissa, that the work that you are helping people do, or and the way you want to take professional Christian women, especially because of all of your experiences in life. So many women are living in shameful situations because
yes,
terrified of being judged. They're
yes,
terrified of being rejected by
yes,
society, even though they are already in a dejected situation, for
yes.
example, in the case of a marriage. And so I would love to hear more. And since you've identified that there is a need,
Mhm.
for more work to be done in that area of peace, especially it's part of the fruit of the spirit, which we rarely spend time on. I would love to see the type of work that you do to help bring that particular part of the fruit out, into the open as a one that we can not only mention once in a while, but make it a part of our conversations because
Yeah,
we need
absolutely.
more peace in this crazy world. Yeah,
Yes, yes, we do. We do.
Diane is saying amazing. It is about the internal work, not external. That's
Yes.
beautiful. And so what would you want to leave your viewers with before I ask you a last question? But what would you want to leave with those who are listening and those who need your message? I'm leaving your email here on the screen so they can reach out.
Yes, yes, thank you. I just want to tell you, you who are listening to me today, you do not have to suffer alone and being in turmoil
Mhm,
internally.
mhm.
Um, I'm here to help you. You have my contact information. I will love to work with you and help you live a healthy life and fulfilling life, even regardless of any situations that you go through.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, what's next for you, by the way?
Well, I'm here. I love working one on one, but I also love talking to an audience. So I'm here, to speak to your church group, to your women's group, any group that you have that you believe needs to hear this message. I
Mm.
am here to help you.
Awesome. And finally, Julissa, we are Frank. By the way, before we go on with, we have a note here, and Franklin is saying it is not easy, but we need to take the step. It's our choice. Only with God's help can we make it. Thanks, Julissa. Proud of you.
Thank you, Franklin.
Awesome. That's your support all the way from Panama.
Yeah,
And so we are right now in the middle of this series for this week. And we are recruiting, in fact, enrolling ladies. We're in the tail end of our enrollment for women in the speaker mentorship program. What would you say was your greatest breakthrough in the program? And what would you say to a woman who's listening who needs to probably take some action because she feels that call as well?
understanding that I did have a message to share with the world, and that message was always there. I just needed to understand it and just speak. Just speak. Don't hide it, because people out there need your message. Your message is not for the whole world. It's
Mhm.
for specific people that are going through the same things that you experience. And God had placed you in this world and allowed you to go through that experience so that you can help and bless others. Um, I highly recommend this program. Dr. Nadine is great. She pushed us, she mentored us, and with that love, but also firm attitude, because she understood and she knew that we had something to share, we had potential.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, because I know there's so many ladies listening, and sometimes they think, well, that's probably Julissa, but that's not me. But
Exactly.
your journey is clear that you took a step of faith, even when you did not know exactly what it is you were called to speak about. You know that the call was there to speak. And so, ladies, if you
Yes.
feel that call to speak, you don't know what you have to speak about, that's fine. Trust me, we always figure it out in the first few weeks of the
Yes.
program, and then we work on building your message, and then everything else that you need to launch out. Julissa, I wish you many
Thank
blessings
you.
in that work of peace that you are going to help bring to us in the midst of our war zones. I know that God is going to do amazing things. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. Viewers, thank you, because without you, this would not be possible. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we host another lady in our lunchtime series for the month of May. Thanks again so much, guys, for being here with us. Julie,
Thank
so
you, Dr.
missing.
Nadine. Thank you.
Alicia
Appreciate the
is proud
space.
of you. Yeah, so you have your chairs right there. Again, thank you so much. You're welcome, and thanks for just being here with us today. God
Thank
bless
you.
you, viewers. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye bye.